Oh, this is a rare moment. I don't often shed tears.
Chapter 8. The Cold, Hard Truth. Beck leapt up, allowing the suction to yank her into the dark. Dimness eclipsed around her like the shutter of a camera as she seemed to cover great distance in mere moments. Her only points of reference were glints of upcoming turns, which approached with frightening speed, only to carom her gracefully along. She heard the tinny, distant echoes of Rollo's glee. Once she stopped fighting against it, the ride was impossibly smooth. Then, all of a sudden, as if minutes had passed in an instant, light blazed into view. A burst of wintry air snuffed across her face, and she was flung out into the cold.
So this is like a way of getting to the original Beacon Pines. We've been here. I remember this place. That was intense. Yeah. I think I might have parted with some fluids in there. Oh! That's disgusting. Any idea where we are? Somewhere cold. Doesn't look like it got on any of us. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting, Rollo. It didn't feel like we travelled that far. So where did it all go? Rollo's just obsessing about his bodily fluids. This place sucks. Why would anyone even want to blow something up out here? Only one way to find out, I suppose. We've got to catch up to Nuncreed. I think he went this way. How would you know that? You were in the tube.
As they rounded the corner to the frozen town square, they spotted Mr. Nuncreed inching cautiously toward a pit at its center. He held his arms out gingerly, as if approaching a beast in the wild.
Well, we've caught up to Nuncreed.
Upon closing the distance, Luca recognized what Nuncreed was after. Gran stood confidently at the edge, one arm outstretched over the abyss. Nearby, a wheelbarrow had been emptied out. She held a lit torch, which flickered in the bitter wind.
Juniper, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I assure you this is not going to solve anything. If you drop that, you've doomed this whole town. Oh, it wasn't me who doomed this town. I've been watching you, Joseph. I know what you've done. I've just had an idea. I've just had a thought. You know that green goo stuff makes people age. And Iggy went from really young to really old looking. And you know how 6 months ago Luca's mum disappeared and then Gran appeared. The Gran who we've only recently realised may have died. Could this actually be the mum? The mum's had that gunk put on her and has aged. Wouldn't that be a weird and fabulous twist? I know what you've done. You and your co-conspirators. Gran? What's happening? Luca! You and your friends need to leave right this moment.
Mr. Nuncreed turned back toward the kids, desperation in his eyes.
Listen to your grandma, Luca. This is between me and Juniper.
Beck held steadfast in awe. Luca approached closer. Mr. Nuncreed spun back toward Gran, his voice growing louder.
You've got it all wrong, Juniper. Just hand over the torch. You don't understand what you're doing. How could I possibly trust you to do the right thing? Walt told me everything. He trusted you, and you betrayed that trust. Luca, did you know that this man's entire life is a lie? If it weren't for him, your father might still be alive.
Mr. Nuncreed winced with anguish. His voice hardened.
That's not true.
Both now yelled, not to each other, but at fate itself, making their peace with long-held burdens. The wind howled with encouragement.
Walt was like a brother to me. We just had different ideas about how to effect change. Very convenient that your way just happened to line your pockets. Now that's not fair.
They menaced at each other, both catching their breath. The moment balanced on a knife's edge. Amid a blur of emotions and memories, Luca's mind flooded with questions. The wind calmed, as if to give him the stage.
Oh no, and in the stillness he began to... He's not going to hum, is he? Why would he hum? I'm going to hum. Let's see where hum takes us. I don't want a sad ending. Give me a happy ending. If we weep, we're going to go down a sad ending route. I want a happy ending. Let's hum.
And in the stillness, he began to hum. After the death of his father, Luca had trouble sleeping. Each night, his mother would sit at the foot of his bed and hum a gentle melody. It was the only thing that could calm his mind. The only thing that, however briefly, could make it all seem okay. That melody pervaded every memory Luca had of his mother. Shivering in the raw snow, he began to hum it out loud.
Cry. A tissue. Luca.
Gran lowered the torch, listening closely. As recognition slowly set in, her heart sank. Those countless nights of consolation, the incomparable loss they shared together. She let the torch fall to the snow and sizzle out. A few steps toward Luca was all she could bear before dropping to the snow herself. Through a flood of tears, she began to hum along, note for note.
It is his mum. My God, this is going to make me cry. Get a grip, woman.
Luca lifted his head in astonishment. The last time he heard that melody was the last night he saw his mother.
I've got goosebumps. How do you know? I'm so sorry, my little buckaroo. Buckaroo. Oh my God. It's going to make me cry. I can feel the tears. The only people who call me that are my dad and your mother.
Luca blinked through blurry, watery eyes, trying to see more clearly.
He's not the only one who's got blurry, watery eyes.
He could just make out the impression of a familiar face.
It is his mum.
He peered across the snowscape at the woman on her knees.
Oh my God. Is this a happy ending?
Something about her was undeniably his mother. Only smaller, older, changed.
Oh wait, is she going to shrink? Mum? That's right, buckaroo. Called it. Mum? Oh.
Luca sprinted as fast as he could toward his mother. They held each other close, and the cold retreated from their bodies.
Eleanor? I thought you were gone? Should have known I would never abandon my son.
Lenore looked down at Luca, tightening her embrace in an appeal for forgiveness.
How? You're a smart man, Joseph. I thought you'd have pieced it together by now. You were exposed. Mum, I don't understand any of this. What happened to you? Where did you go? Why did you leave me? I never left you. I was always right here, Luca. Why did you lie to me? It tore me up, Luca, but I did it to keep you safe. I thought that getting answers would help us both move on. But the more I discovered, the more I realised the danger we were in. Until perennial harvest was stopped, it was better if everyone thought I was gone. You could have trusted me. These are bad people, Luca. They won't stop until they get what they want. They don't care who gets hurt in the process. And what do? We have to stop them.
Joseph slumped into the cold, wet snow.
Yeah, Nun Creed. On your knees! They can't be stopped. This is too big. Oh, I'm legit crying. Oh, this is a rare moment. I don't often shed tears. This is too big. I tried beating them at their own game. I'm done fighting with fire.
For the first time in a long time, her voice felt like her own again.
No more lies. I see now there's a better way to stop perennial harvest. A cold, hard, Truth.
Inca gazed down at Nuncreed with pity. He looked small.
It's because he's on his knees.
Joseph stared into the snow, as if searching it for answers.
Come on, everyone. We've got a party to crash. You don't understand. He always wins. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Chapter 9.
Come on. We can finish this happily. Come
The
on.
devil you know.
Better the devil you know.
7 months ago.
What? Back in time?
Eleanor Van Horn crept down the maze of sterile hallways under perennial harvest. She stopped in front of the large steel door marked Deep Engineering.
Deep engineering. I remember that from way back in the beginning.
No turning back now. She raised a trembling hand. The stolen keycard worked as promised, and the door bust open with mechanical efficiency. She was immediately hit with the smell of disinfectant. It was some sort of laboratory. In one corner was a desk covered in papers. Across the room stood a tall metal pod with hoses protruding from its base. She rushed to the desk and began shifting through the piles of papers. They were experiment reports on something called Tempus liquamen. There were dozens of them. Every one stamped failed. Eleanor heard the sharp echo of footsteps approaching. She was out of time.
Uh-oh.
Her eyes scanned the room, eventually landing on the strange pod. Muttering a curse under her breath, she dashed over and dove inside.
Is that how she got old? And that is what change is all about. Oh, we're still waffling on about change. Let's gate crash this party. Grabbing the future by the scruff of the neck and making things happen. Change is a choice. I am tickled pink that we will all be making that choice together. Great is that. This man is a liar! Excuse me? This town has a dangerous secret and perennial harvest only exists to keep it hidden. Nonsense. They picked up the whole damn town and moved it right under our noses. You aren't making any sense, dear.
Mr. Kerr addressed the crowd with a sarcastic tone.
Imagine such a thing. It's absurd and just plain impossible. They promised they could fix the foul harvest. They told us they would clean this place up. We just had to leave town for a few days. But while they had us evacuated, Mrs. Hartford, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to... You're afraid of a lot of things, aren't you? You snivelling little worm. This is growing tiresome. Little help, please. Here come the clipboards. Don't you all see? This festival is a sham. An excuse to have the whole town gather in one place. They're planning something awful. I don't know what. These people are wicked. Don't listen to her. She has absolutely no proof. I am the proof. I'm Eleanor Van Horn.
Whispers filtered through the crowd.
Van Horn. Well, aren't you just sneaky as the dickens? We all knew Valentine's fertilizer was too good to be true, and now this whole town is paying the price. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry about this disruption. My associates will take this obviously disturbed woman somewhere comfortable so that she can get the help she needs. She's not the one who's disturbed. You two-timing clown. You all know there's something wrong with this town. It was just easier to look the other way. The truth is... Oh. All right, Solomon. That's quite enough, Mr. Nuncreed.
Torment dragged on Joseph Nuncreed's face.
Is he sharper, Valentine? Has he reversed the aging process and gone from old to young? Take them away. No, I want them to see this. Ah, the ever-tempestuous Eleanor Van Horn. You've been quite the thorn in my side, like a weed that's burrowed in where it doesn't belong. I must confess, you look
He
dreadful.
paused for a moment, plucking a piece of fuzz from his sweater and discarding it to the ground.
Consider yourself in rare company. You've managed to pull one over on me. It won't happen again. I knew you had some sort of plan to disrupt our little party, but alas, I expected something a bit more impressive than incoherent rambling. No matter, your failures are yours to bear. Mr. Kerr. Yes, sir. It's a shame it was cut short, but I thank you for that rousing oratory. I will take it from here. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. You have done quality work for me, William. We look forward to the recompense we agreed
Kerr
upon.
gave a bow of deference.
Founder, you are most gracious.
Gasps rippled through the crowd.
Thankfully, we can dispense with the formalities from here on out.
Solomon pulled a glass vial from his pocket. In one smooth motion, he downed its contents. A triumphant smile grew across Solomon's lips.
You can all call me... Sharp of that time! Said it! He's got back in time. He's reversed the aging process.
His body and face began to contort
Oh.
and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
Gross. Look at that.
A hushed horror gripped the crowd.
There he is.
This is a story about change.
Da, da, da. What? No. Oh, doesn't he look sus? Hang on. You can't see him because my camera's in the way. Please hold. Doesn't he look sus? Ah, so you didn't see that coming. Really didn't. Good.
Sharper examined his new hands.
Well, this is quite the improvement. Everything looks so much smaller now. Eleanor was right about one thing. This festival was a ruse. I wanted you all to witness my glorious return with your own eyes. Why does everyone look so downtrodden? This is a celebration, people. Maybe it would help if we set the mood. Mr. Kerr, be a dear and reveal the sign. Sharper Valentine Festival. This dude's got tickets on himself. Ha! Wonderful.
Sharper choked out a crude squawk of a laugh. Frustrated grumbles sprinkled through the crowd.
Sharper, you malicious bastard. There's another charm. I'm glad you're back, so I could tell you to your face. You destroyed this town. We ain't gonna let you get away with it again. Sorry, this is not the time for audience participation. Some assistance, Mr.
William
Kerr.
Kerr gave a subtle nod to the clipboards.
You coward! Does anyone else have something to contribute?
A helpless quiet settled over the crowd.
I thought so. Did you all truly believe you could be free of me? This dude is evil. A town of complete and utter fools. People should be celebrating my return. You're clearly lost without me. I don't like this dude. Let's hit him. Let's get him. Come on, town people. And that leads me nicely to my children. Daddy! Oh my God. I gave you both the greatest gift a parent can give, the opportunity to prove yourselves in my absence. Squandered. To say I'm disappointed would be an understatement. But silence, Augustus. An adult is speaking. I really don't like this dude. I don't know which is worse, a son who is completely hopeless, or a daughter with such potential who inevitably lets me down. Heiress, you fail me with admirable consistency. Thankfully, I was counting on it this time. Father, I've been wasting my time. What have you accomplished? I was focused on cementing our legacy. Legacy? Who needs a legacy when you can just live forever? But what about... It's all right, kiddo. I'm afraid you suffer from a complete lack of imagination. There's just no helping it. Now then, where is Joseph? You didn't take the opportunity to slip off, did you? Ah, there he is. Everyone should give him a hand. None of this would have been possible without Joseph. I think you've said enough. Nonsense. People deserve to know how helpful and loyal you've been. I only did what I did because he left me no choice. You always had a choice, Joseph. You're simply too weak to take it. No matter. Cheer up. You are about to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. You should follow Mr. Kerr's example. When I found him, he was in a sorrier state than any of you. An aging actor desperate to recapture his youth. Played his part, and soon he'll be able to play the leading man again. Forever, in fact, if he remains loyal. So is he thinking he's found the cure to death? is it immortal? Is this what Sharper is saying? That goes for all of you. Well, those who haven't already frittered away my goodwill. Beacon Pines is mine again, and I am willing to share its spoils in exchange for absolute loyalty. Are you saying William Kerr was never in charge of perennial harvest? Ha! You think that puffed-up blatherskite could have accomplished all of this? Dawn, I suppose it's time for your big exclusive.
Sharper addressed the crowd with indignant pride. He'd planned this moment for so long that now, at the deed's fruition, it almost felt frivolous.
See, I needed a figurehead to hold things down while I orchestrated my return. Someone to misdirect, lie, and bilk this town for a spell. So I invented William Kerr. Take your bow. You've earned
Mr.
it.
Kerr flourished a preposterously elaborate bow.
Patrick C. Montesquieu, thespian extraordinaire, at your service. Now that your secret is out in the open, what's to stop this town from rising up against you? Ooh, feisty fratelli. Oh, that's the delicious part. Beer. Thanks to our clipboards, I know what each and every person in this town fears most. And I will make those fears manifest for anyone who steps out of line. Choice is simple. I'm not afraid of you. Ah, the young hero. I've kept a keen eye on you, boy. You and your friends made a habit of disrupting my plans. What a pity. If things would have gone a bit differently, you might have had your moment of triumph. But that's fate for you. Can't do this. Oh, but I can. I have won. Never underestimate what a great man can do given time. And now time is my plaything. Perhaps the most expensive thing I've ever bought. Well worth it. Ha!
Sharper coughed up one final laugh and cracked his knuckles.
Enough chit-chat. Let's get to work, shall we?
And so, Sharper set about remaking the town in his own image. The fertilizer factory soon reopened for business. Sales rose steadily as more and more farmers across the countryside began to swear by its miraculous properties. Beacon Pines became famous, a secretive town that, for the right price, shared its gifts with all. Gifts that became more and more necessary in a world where winters grew longer and longer. The end.
I don't know how I feel about that ending. It's not a sad ending, but it's not a happy ending. Where on the scale of happy endings does that sit? More towards the sad than the happy. It's the happiest ending we've had. Nobody has been covered in ice, so that's got to be a good thing, I think.
This is where I'm ending today's video. Thanks for watching. Hit like while you're here, pop me a comment down below, and sub if you've yet to do so. Check out my other videos. There will be something there that you enjoy. Until next time, ciao for now.